During the M&A journey, a lot can happen. Markets shift, your business changes, buyers have concerns, input. You learn something critical about the competitive landscape. Maybe you get an offer that is then withdrawn or retraded, and you don't get the offer you want. After 40 years of selling more tech companies than anyone in history, we've learned one crucial truth. Sometimes the best move is to just hit pause. Take time to improve your story. Corum calls this hiatus, and we're the only investment bank in the world that offers it. This unique program offers sellers to go off market, make improvements based on buyer input, then go back to refreshed buyers with a better message, all without having to pay the initial startup retainers. We're all former CEOs ourselves, so we can help. We really know what the buyers value. And don't worry, we'll keep your buyer discussions warm. And the results? Often transformational. We recently gathered recent sellers at the stunning Loreto Retreat in Baja, Mexico to celebrate 3 founders who successfully sold their companies. During our time together, we reflected on their journeys and discovered a common thread. Each leveraged the Corum Hiatus Program to deliver dramatically better results. When Seth Friedman first took his company to market, things looked promising on the surface. They'd experienced explosive growth. But there was a problem.
We had not really positioned the business properly. We had gone through a year of not only explosive growth, but an accompaniment of some churn in our business.
Intelligent Observation entered a 1-year hiatus with clear objectives. Continue aggressive top-line growth while shoring up the customer base to reduce churn. While Seth worked on the company, Corum kept the buyers engaged, updating them about the company's progress.
And when we came out of hiatus, I think we just hit the ground running.
The buyer response was immediate.
The market responded as we had anticipated. Hiatus was a great program. And the story didn't change so much. It was more closing the gaps that we had prior to or going into hiatus, being able to talk about or adjust the story to say, hey, let us show you how we've now closed all of those gaps.
Brian Allen's journey took an unexpected turn. The initial leg of the process was textbook perfect. Within 4 months, they had an offer, headed to due diligence, but then their buyer had to withdraw.
Our initial buyer had an event that required them to withdraw from the bid process.
But Brian turned this setback into an opportunity. The buyer, Aegis, was still interested, just not ready to complete the deal yet.
What we did is that we entered into a strategic alliance with them to carry on with getting a lot of the benefits that we thought that we were going to get from combining with them in the first place.
During the year-long hiatus, Certus and Aegis created joint industry solutions and began marketing together. When they returned to market, the results exceeded expectations.
When we went back to market, having created these new relationships, we actually had a different value proposition, and it resulted in us getting a better price for the company.
Dan Gird's experience shows how hiatus can be used strategically, not just once, but twice, to achieve the right outcome. Flexagon first went to market in 2022.
I had an offer, there's a lot of good activity, but we didn't find the right buyer at that point in time.
They entered their first hiatus going into summer, learned from the market feedback, and returned later that year, quickly finding a promising buyer, but with concerns about consistency.
The buyer wanted to see some specific metrics and consistency, right? We had a good trajectory. The buyer and their decision committee wanted to see some specific numbers and most importantly, consistency over a period of time, which was a 3-month period.
Flexagon entered a second, shorter hiatus, just 3 months, to demonstrate that consistency.
We hit those numbers, came out of that, and then proceeded to ultimately close the transaction relatively quickly after that. It met our needs, right? And there was some refinement in there that was what myself and the other partners needed, the shareholders needed to be able to see that through.
What do these three stories have in common? 1. Patience wins. Each founder recognized that they needed to take a strategic pause rather than settle. 2. Hiatus isn't starting over. Taking advantage of the hiatus program means you don't lose momentum. Relationships stay warm. 3. Buyers reward preparation. When you address buyer concerns and demonstrate consistent execution, offers improve, sometimes dramatically. 4. Flexibility is power. Whether it's a reset, a strategic pivot, or multiple tactical pauses, the Corum Hiatus Program adapts to what each company needs.